Welcome back, everyone, to another live chat here in FIN4443. Here we are continuing our series for week number 4. In this session, we are diving into some of the most practical day-to-day decisions that businesses face. How to manage short-term assets like cash, receivables, and inventory. From navigating credit policy to calculating the optimal order quantity, this is the behind-the-scenes work that keeps a business running smoothly. So let's get to it. The material in this session is drawn from your assigned reading, so be sure to review that thoroughly. What we cover here will reinforce those concepts and add some real-world perspective to help make it all click. Cash management. At its core, managing a firm's cash means holding just enough. Not too much, not too little. We want sufficient cash to pay bills, protect the firm's credit rating, and handle the unexpected. But anything above that, that's cash that could be invested or used more productively elsewhere. Effective cash management balances safety and efficiency, keeping the firm liquid but lean. Firms typically hold cash for a variety of reasons. First, there is the transaction balance. This is working cash, which is used for day-to-day operations like payroll, vendor payments, or other routine activities. Second, the compensating balance. This is a required deposit to secure or maintain a loan with a bank. Think of it as collateral in the form of cash. Then there are precautionary balances, cash kept in reserve to weather the unexpected. It's the corporate equivalent of an emergency fund. And finally, speculative balances. These are held to capitalize on opportunities like bargain purchases or short-term investments that require quick access to funds. The cash budget. To manage cash well, we need a map. Enter the cash budget, a detailed forecast of expected cash inflows and outflows. It helps firms avoid surprises, anticipate shortages, and plan borrowing or investing activities. By setting a target cash balance, the firm ensures it always has a safe cushion, even during lean periods. Now let's discuss technique. The goal is to synchronize cash inflows with outflows so firms can hold smaller transaction balances. Understanding the check clearing process also matters. How quickly funds move from payer to payee can impact liquidity. Another cash management technique is float. Float is the difference between a firm's checkbook balance and the bank's actual records. Managing float can stretch the firm's cash availability, though it's not as powerful in today's world of electronic payments. Acceleration of receipts. Faster cash is better cash. A lockbox arrangement speeds up collections by routing customer payments to a secure, centralized post office box managed by the bank. This reduces mail time and check processing delays. Other tools to accelerate receipts include pre-authorized debits, where customer accounts are drafted automatically, and concentration banking, which pools cash from various locations into a central account for easier control. Credit management and credit policy. Credit management begins with the firm's credit policy, the rules for who gets credit, how much, and under what terms. Setting clear standards helps reduce default risk and improves cash flow predictability. Terms of credit define the length of the credit period and whether any early payment discounts apply. Once that period passes, any unpaid balances are considered delinquent. Discounts and collection policy. Cash discounts reward early payers and help speed up collections. Firms must also implement a sound collection policy. These are structured steps to follow up on overdue accounts. Receivables monitoring. Monitoring payment patterns is critical. If customers are slowing down their payments, that could indicate problems, either with them or perhaps with the credit terms being too loose. Analyzing proposed changes in credit policy. Before changing its credit policy, a firm should run the numbers. What are the marginal benefits? Will sales increase? What about costs or bad debt risk? It's important to treat credit changes like any other capital budgeting decision. If the projected net present value is positive, then it is worth considering. Inventory management. Let's now shift gears to inventory. Inventory takes several forms: raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. Each of these requires its own management strategy. Optimal inventory level and associated costs. Carrying inventory isn't free. The carrying costs include storage, insurance, and capital costs. Ordering costs arise each time inventory is replenished. The goal? Minimize the total of both. Optimal inventory level and EOQ. To optimize inventory, we use the Economic Order Quantity Model, or EOQ. This model balances ordering costs against carrying costs. Pay close attention to the variables used in this formula. You may want to pause the playback and study this carefully before continuing. Economic Order Quantity, or EOQ, gives us the sweet spot, the exact quantity to order that minimizes total inventory costs. Too much inventory ties up cash. Too little risks stockouts and missed sales. EOQ aims to get it just right. Here's the EOQ formula in action. You'll notice it's a square root function balancing order costs and carrying costs. The formula takes into account the number of units demanded, the cost of placing an order, the carrying cost percentage, and the purchase price. It may look intimidating, but it simply helps firms determine how often and in what quantity they should reorder to minimize total costs. Once you know the EOQ, you can build your purchasing schedule around it, reducing excess inventory and freeing up working capital. That wraps up our discussion on managing short-term assets. These decisions, how much cash to hold, when to extend credit, and how to manage inventory, Individually, they might seem small in isolation, but together, they shape a company's liquidity, risk profile, and profitability. Keep these tools handy. You'll use them more than you think.